Imagine a Disney live action remake directed by Paul King. Honestly, if that happens, it would be one of the best Disney live action remakes yet. I'm dead serious. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Stews here, and welcome back to another video. With the release of Paddington in Peru in my country and the release of the film in the US coming in a couple of weeks from now, I am here today to do a review on the Paddington duology leading up to it, starting off with the first film. So Paddington is a film based on a children's book by the same name, and it came out in the year 2014 in the UK and 2015 in the US and also my country. For me personally, I acknowledge Paddington as a 2015 film and is directed by Paul King, the same director as Paddington 2 and Wonka. Seriously, Paul King, direct more family movies, please. And it stars Ben Whishaw, Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Madeline Harris, Samuel Jocelyn, Nicole Kidman, Julie Walters, Imelda Stanton, Peter Capaldi, Michael Gambon, etc. And so the film tells a story about a Peruvian bear named Paddington who loses his uncle during a massive earthquake in Peru. And because of that, his aunt sends him to the city in order to search for a better place, and he ends up in, out of all places, London. And in London, he gets trapped in a train station called Paddington, which I believe is one of the most famous train stations in all of London. And in the station, he gets adopted by a family, which is, well, the Brown family. Yeah, unfortunately, the father does not actually want Paddington in their house because of how he's just a bear and he's messing around. Even though everyone else in the Brown family loves him. So throughout the film, Mr. Brown must learn to get used to Paddington, but at the same time, he tries to figure out where Paddington is from and how he can send Paddington away from from London and back in his own place. But then they come across a villain named Millicent, a museum curator who believes that Paddington is the missing piece of the museum she's been looking for. So she stuffs. So she gets Paddington. So she kidnaps Paddington and wants to stuff him in the museum. So now the Browns must rescue Paddington. So yeah, now yes, Paddington in Peru is actually already out in theaters in my country. It came out in January 29, same day as Companion. I'm planning to see Paddington in Peru on Monday. I was actually supposed to see Paddington in Peru last Thursday, but then I wasn't able to due to personal reasons. So I'm seeing it Monday. Well, yes, I'm seeing it in the morning because right before my class time. So yeah, now I am actually looking forward to Paddington in Peru. Sure, yes, there are a few minor red flags in that film. Like Paddington in Peru could have been the best in the Paddington trilogy, but then they took away they removed a few things about the film that would have made Paddington in Peru like the best one. Yeah, I'll explain more on that in my Paddington in Peru review. But man, Paddington has come a long way Paddington has come a long way from a film that it wasn't even very popular at the time to now getting a trilogy. It's actually freaking insane, honestly. And yes, guys, by the way, I gotta say, happy 10th anniversary to the first Paddington film. Yeah, and I'm sure we're all aware of the second Paddington film, as it's widely considered to be the greatest live action family film of all time. And some would even go as far as calling Paddington 2 one of the greatest movies ever made, like in general. There was that one point a few years ago where Paddington 2 was actually named the highest rated movie of all time on Rotten Tomatoes, and it had a 100% rating, standing for like a while. Now, yeah, Paddington 2 was actually the Paddington movie. Paddington 2 was actually the movie that made people actually recognize Paddington. Because with this Paddington film, it actually, like, no one has heard of this. Like, barely anyone gave this recognition. Like, at the time, nobody saw this film. So, I will admit that it was, while Paddington 2 was a masterpiece and was, was a masterpiece and not unnecessary, it kind of was a surprise that they made Paddington 2 considering how unpopular this one was. I guess maybe because of its low budget, I guess. Yeah, but I actually was one of those people who saw Paddington in theaters with my family. And believe it or not, guys, me and my family were the only people who in the theater. Absolutely nobody else watching Paddington in the theater besides us. And yeah, we all loved it. Yeah, my parents are massive fans of this Paddington film. And they even consider it their favorite Paddington movie, believe it or not. Yeah, even though me and my family were the only ones watching this in an empty theater, it was probably the best empty theater experience next to Spider-Man Far From Home. And yes, guys, Spider-Man Far From Home, I watched that in the empty theater. But that's mainly because I watched that film on a Friday at an 11 a.m. showing where nobody was watching a movie at the time. But yeah, eventually, yeah, there were a lot of people saw Far From Home just on the weekend. But yeah, now as yeah, I mean, I've always loved Paddington ever since it came out. Sure, I wouldn't say I'm passionate about Paddington, but I still think this movie is a masterpiece regardless. And I actually think Paul King is one of the greatest family movie directors of all time. Maybe he's the best family movie director, but I'll have to think about that. But in terms of live action family movies, yes. Now, like having a masterful live action family movies are a rare thing. As a lot of these live action family movies would actually suck in my opinion. Sure, yes, you got the truly great video game adaptations, and also like the Sonic the Hedgehog sequels and Pokemon and all that stuff. I guess Pokemon and Pikachu. And you also got another film that Paul King directed, Wonka, which I know I initially gave Wonka a 4.5 out of 5 in my review, but actually I will say is though, on rewatch, upon rewatching Wonka, that would actually be now my favorite. No, wait, no, not my favorite Paul King film, but I mean, Wonka is now a 5-star movie. But not only that, but Wonka is now officially my favorite. Favorite Willy Wonka movie. Yeah, topping even the Gene Wilder original film. And I would say that Wonka would be my second favorite Paul King film, second only behind Paddington 2. Now, yes, this Paddington film is admittedly the weakest Paul King film, now the weakest. But do I still love Paddington? Hell freaking yes. The first Paddington movie is such an underappreciated film. It's yes, I get why these Paddington films suddenly became popular with the second film because of how much rave it got. But this one got raved too by critics, and yet nobody saw it. Like, not many people saw it, and no one even talks about this. Like, whenever people talk about the Paddington films, it's always Paddington 2, Paddington 2, Paddington 2. Sure. While this is not as good as the second film for sure, it's actually almost on a level. In fact, I would say that all of Paul King's movies are actually quite on par with each other. What makes this movie work so well is that beyond it being an innocent family film, it doesn't get afraid to become dark at times. The film opens with an intense earthquake sequence and a tragic death, setting the stage for what's to come. Sure, I will admit that yes, the earthquake is. I mean, the film does have kind of a unrealistic depiction of earthquake. First of all, like don't just like immediately run out of the treehouse in an earthquake. You have to like duck cover and hold. Like that's freaking basics. Don't just run in an earthquake. Yeah, and also the earthquake should not last that long. I mean, with the family running like climbing down the tree and then running to the shelter, which looks like it takes more than 5 minutes to do that. There's no way an earthquake can last that long unless if it's like a Japan situation. So I will say yes, that is actually my one nitpick of the film, like the unrealistic depiction of earthquakes. But honestly, who cares? I don't think that should be a problem because it's not because it's not what the movie is about. It's actually about this bear trying to find a better place for himself. Paddington himself is such a lovable bear with not only his voice and his adorableness, but also his lovable charm and just how well fleshed out he is. Arguably the best bear character in any film. I said arguably because I'm sure there might be a better one, but I don't know. Yeah, but as great as Paddington is, it's actually the human characters around Paddington who made this move, who made the impact when it comes to the film's characters. Henry Brown is one of the most developed fathers I've ever seen. Going from someone who only adopted Paddington just to help him find his place to actually accepting Paddington as someone a part of the family. And now, in the end, yeah, Paddington is a part of the Brown family. And it doesn't matter if you're a bear, if you're a bear or you're like an animal from the same species. Family does not by blood does not matter. You can have a family member that does not belong in the same species, and that's actually a great message for this film. Mrs. Bird is such a badass, especially with how old she is. Mary is such a sweet mother. She's so likable and kind-hearted. Probably the most kind-hearted character in this entire film, especially when she was the one who adopted Paddington. And yeah, without her, Paddington would not have gotten adopted. And the kids really have the kids like bring twice the charm to the Brown family as the others. So with Judy being my favorite of the Brown family, I will say that Jonathan is the weakest character of the Brown family, but he's still like great. He's like a solid character. But my favorite character in the film would have to be the villain, Millicent. She is my favorite Paddington villain, and she is my favorite for a reason. Brilliantly portrayed by Nicole Kidman with an arc that is extremely dark, even for family movie standards. You really feel her dark presence in the film. And also that and it's not bad. And even like that museum third act. Oh man, that is dark. That is extremely dark, even for family movie standards. When Millicent wants to stuff Paddington in a museum and actually wants to kill him. But I know that's like kind of like a lot of villains do that. But the way that Millicent does it, yeah, you really feel her dark presence, especially when she goes after him. Yeah, Nicole Kidman Nicole Kidman would be my second favorite 50s actress. By age, 50s by age. Second only behind Idina Menzel. And even though, yes, maybe her hairstyle looks a little weird. She looks too much like... She reminds me of Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. But she still does stand out. And man, Nicole Kidman, Yeah, she needs to play. Nicole Kidman deserves to play more villains with both Millicent and also the queen from the Northman. Yeah, remember her? Yeah, I need to rewatch Northman. I still love Northman. Still the best Robert Eggers movie. And yeah, but yeah, and oh, and also the jokes as well. Yeah, it's not a Paddington film without the jokes, and I think the jokes are among the highlight of the film. Yeah, I think if you know me so well, you probably know that I'm not really a big fan of comedy. Do I love to laugh? Sure, but I mainly laugh at, in person things, not on media. I guess YouTube videos, I do laugh at a lot of YouTube videos. But when it comes to movies, honestly, yeah, comedy has not been funny in movies lately. In fact, I actually consider comedy, like as in straight comedy, as my least favorite genre. Not a bad genre, but just the weakest genre of them all. Like, but I gotta say, as a comedy, Paddington is certainly one of the greatest comedies period. Yeah, Paddington is one of the greatest comedies period. Yeah, a lot of jokes do land. I mean, sure, you got some kid friendly jokes, but you got some adult jokes too. There's just one joke in the film that actually got me laughing so hard. I think it's one of the funniest jokes I've ever seen put to film. Yeah, the joke I'm talking about is somewhere like in the first act where Paddington says his name in the roar, like, my name is Roar. And then he asks Mr. Brown to say his name back. And then Mr. Brown tries to mimic Paddington's roar, and then Paddington was like, "That's racist," like something like that. Yeah, that joke that got me laughing for 5 minutes straight. Like even in a scene that's not funny, like I still kept on laughing because of that one joke. That goes to show how much they really nailed it with that joke. Yeah, the CGI and the bears is amazing too because of how real they looked, especially Paddington. I mean, Paddington, god damn, he looks so realistic. Looks like a real bear. So yeah. So overall, Paddington is such a masterfully made family film that perfectly combines sweetness with darkness. With the first two Paddington films and Wonka, Paul King proves he is one of the best family movie directors, as he knows how to bring movie magic on screen. Yeah, I think that this is a film that more people need to watch, especially to those people who saw Paddington 2 without watching this one. I think more people need to talk about this one more, because this is the Paddington movie that started it all. And yes, Paddington 2 is superior, but we wouldn't have Paddington 2 without this one. So with that said, guys, I'm going to give Paddington, of course, 5 stars out of 5. A masterpiece movie. I won't go as far as putting this in my top 10 best movies of 2015 list, but it certainly lands an honorable mention. So also for my review of Paddington, what are your thoughts on the film? Would you agree with me that this movie is a masterpiece? I'm sure everyone thinks so. I mean, who the hell does not like Paddington? But would you say that this is better than Paddington 2? Or do you still think Paddington 2 is your favorite? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on Paddington 2. Bye, guys.